Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis are the biggest stars in America. You won't find them in Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla, but you will find their most shameless imitators, Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo. They make merry on an exotic/fake-looking South Seas island and run afoul of a mad scientist played by a fully committed Bela Lugosi. Welcome to Sasquatch Cinema, the podcast where we talk about movies starring Bigfoot, the Yeti, and all kinds of ape men. I'm Steven.
I'm Isaac.
And today we're going to be talking about my most anticipated movie of the season thus far, Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla from 1952. But of course, before that, we'll do a little bit of discussion about what our week was like. How was your week, Isaac?
Not bad. I'm tired.
I too am tired.
You're tired from work. I'm tired because I go to bed at 1 a.m. and get up at 9 on typically days. So I don't get as much sleep as I probably should be getting.
Well, you know, I frankly do probably that similar thing. Probably a little too often, but what are you going to do when you're kind of a night owl? You know, like it's kind of part of it. So we have to discuss Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla, despite what anybody may feel about this particular picture. And anybody meaning one of the two of us. I'm not sure what you thought about it. We really didn't talk about it after we watched the movie.
Or we didn't pause to talk about it like we did with the previous film. Because I paused and occasionally commented. And sometimes I do that with the other films we watch, just to comment on things.
But this one really deserves to be felt as a whole piece.
Yes. Okay, let me set your expectations for how I am starting to feel about this movie. This was like watching a magnificent, beautiful train wreck.
Yes.
In the most nicest way possible and the meanest way possible towards a certain thing. This is not my inherent style of comedy. I do like slapstick comedies. Mm-hmm. Like, I know I was hard on the gorilla, and I was not hard on Abbott and Costello. I liked Abbott and Costello quite a lot. And
it's hard not to like Abbott and Costello.
Yeah. Well, they have the perfect straight man and goofy man dynamic. Like, the standard when it comes to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one, I kind of wish it was just Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. I mean, I like this better than William Beaudine's other film that we watched, The Ape Man. I like it much better.
Yeah.
And I think this is a much better performance from Bela Lugosi. But you always have some fun facts, and you told me there's a story that you want to tell.
Oh yeah, there's multiple things, but okay, let's sort of set the stage a little bit. So you mentioned Abbott and Costello. In the 1940s, the top box office draw in all of American cinema was Abbott and Costello for 10 years, essentially. This is something that has not been duplicated since. It's kind of amazing because it's just one of those things where they made multiple movies every year of the 1940s, and they were always hits. After they sort of got done doing what they were doing, we kind of had to have another comedy team come up and grab the ranks. You see, Abbott and Costello, after the 40s and 50s, sort of started to decline. Well, after the 40s, rather, started to decline in popularity. A lot of their work went into making their television show. Martin and Lewis actually might have been bigger for the short amount of time that they were actually together. People of the time period actually said that the excitement around Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis was comparable to Beatlemania when they first came to the United States. If you're a human, you've seen videos of teenagers just freaking out for the Beatles. Not so with Martin and Lewis, but apparently that was happening. And that's very strange to consider, like, a comedy duo where one of them essentially just a singer and a fine straight man, and then the other guy is just the goofiest man who's ever existed, the wackiest man of all, Jerry Lewis. They were super mega popular, particularly when they would host the Colgate Comedy Hour. It was on that show that Jerry had discovered a young man by the name of Sammy Petrillo, who was a teenager, and he was sort of starting to make a living as a Jerry Lewis impersonator. Now, Jerry was like, okay, well, I mean, he's whatever. We'll give him a little role on this show. And he played Baby Jerry on the Colgate Comedy Hour. And after that, he was like, well, I'll just keep playing Jerry because I'm getting my success from that. He gets together with his agent, Maurice Duke, who also manages a sort of Dean Martinish singer by the name of Duke Mitchell. He's like, well, I want to put you guys together and make a movie. And maybe if people will just like briefly look at the poster and won't look at the names on the poster, they'll think it's a Martin and Lewis picture. They actually purposefully did not bill the names when they were doing premieres in the movie theater. They would just say Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla.
Oh, is
So-
that why they show up initially with beards, and it's only until they finally have close-ups on their faces that people realize, wait a minute, this isn't Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, this is some other guys.
You know, I'm not certain that that's the reason, but it sounds
more
really
plausible,
reasonable,
right?
very
Yeah.
reasonable. They get together and they start making this movie. I don't know how Bela Lugosi gets involved here. Apparently, Maurice Duke was just walking around Monogram Pictures, the set, and was like, "Oh, hey, there's Bela Lugosi. Hey, I could use you in a movie." And so he was a name actor, so they got him. And this was just when Lugosi was sort of getting off of morphine. So he's he's looking old. I mean, this is 4 years removed from his death, I think.
Yeah.
So he's looking old, but not bad for his age,
No,
especially considering his drug use.
Yeah, he looks very good in this movie, and I can definitely see how they hired him. Like, it very much sounds like he went to a producer went up to him and was like, "Hey, you want to do this movie?" And he's like, sure, I need the money. That'd
Yeah,
be
yeah.
good." And then they're like, and then they bill him as the top one. He's like, "Oh, I appreciate that."
Yeah.
And then as he slowly realized, and I wonder if he knew, excuse me, I wonder if he knew that he was in a Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis knockoff. Like, he got to set and they started doing their thing. He was like, "What?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're doing this now." Because I wonder if the pitch was like, you're going to play this mad scientist who messes with evolution and turns a chimp into a monkey or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, that sounds interesting. It's similar to some other roles I've played. Yeah, this is perfect for me." And he starts playing it and he realizes, "Oh, I'm in a weird comedy."
Yeah, the way the movie feels is actually it's almost like they had two different scripts.
Yeah.
It's like they had a comedy, a South Seas comedy, and then combined it with a South Seas horror movie, because both of those were genres at the time.
Yeah.
So it feels almost like some producers went up to William Beaudine and was like, "All right, you got your pick of these two movies to direct. You got to direct one. You can do a South Seas horror movie with Bela Lugosi, or you can do a South Seas comedy with these two Martin and Lewis knockoffs." And
Both.
it sounds like Bodine was just like, "What about we just do both of them at the same time?"
It'd be
And-
cheaper and quicker.
Yeah, and of course the guy was like, dang it, One Shot Bill, you're a genius."
Like, "You're a genius, Bill. Let's do it." And they fuse it together. And on their own, they probably would have worked fine. But being fused together, it's a little weird. And it's just like, oh, there's elements of it that I think work together fine.
But okay, like a few more little things here. Like, obviously directed by Bill Beaudine.
Bela Lugosi and Duke and what's the other guy?
Sammy.
Sammy.
Duke is so Duke Mitchell's an interesting guy. He was kind of just trying to be a singer at the time.
Yeah.
But later in the 70s, you actually pulled up this information. He wrote and directed a movie called Massacre Mafia Style.
He wrote, directed, is produced, and composed that movie.
Oh, wow.
So he did all of that work. And just from the poster and the letterbox image, it looks like a fun 70s gangster romp
Yeah.
that would be fun to watch.
And of
Um,
course, he also directed the more recently released Gone with the Pope, which I guess he had like been trying to make for a long time and had just recently been released. Also has some fairly good reviews. That was released by Grindhouse Video back in like 2010. But
it was a film he tried to finish in the late 70s. So that's what the Letterboxd description is, and it just didn't get complete. And then he died in the early 80s. So,
yeah,
and then so finally someone sat down and just finished it, and like
yeah,
for him, like finally put a cut together. That's kind of similar to what Netflix did with Orson Welles' film recently.
yeah,
That like they took one of his films that was incomplete and actually completed it.
yeah. The
I've
Other Side of the Wind.
Yeah, Other
Yeah.
Side of the Wind. I've heard mixed things. Some people think it's pretty good. Some people think it's terrible.
Our our
Um,
our boy William Friedkin hated
yeah.
it. It
Right
should
before
have
his death,
never.
he's like, this is the terrible movie. I hate it."
Yeah, yeah. That's basically what he did. But and then there's of course Sammy Petrillo. Sammy Petrillo is sort of the attraction here, to be honest, because he is so similar in the way that he looks, sounds, and acts to Jerry Lewis, but it's just like there's something off. There's something strange. There's something increasingly annoying
his
about him.
his laugh, his smile, his very punchable face,
Yes.
his his inability to actually deliver lines and be funny, not understand that you need to be a likable goofball, not a hateable goofball.
Exactly.
So many things, but I do wonder if he looks that similar to Jerry Lewis. If people in the theater when they're watching this movie, right?
Mhm.
They like you got fans of people like they're fans of Bela Lugosi, like
Mhm.
they're fans of they like saw Dracula or uh like they've seen a few other of his films and are like, oh yeah, I really like these like Universal monster movies and I'm excited to see Bela Lugosi back after finally getting off of like drugs or well that was public knowledge at the time, probably not.
It actually was public knowledge. It was
Oh,
very public, his
very public.
struggle with drugs.
Okay, so his very public one is just like, oh, he's finally off. This is his first movie after this. Let's see how he's doing. So they go in and they're watching it, and Bella doesn't go. She doesn't show up till like good 20 minutes into the film,
Yeah.
and they're just sitting there like, is that Jerry Lewis? Like the
Yeah.
entire time. They don't have phones on the internet, so they can't look it up. So they're just watching this guy. They're going, it's not Jerry Lewis. He wasn't. His name wasn't in the credits in the first place. This is just the
Yeah.
average movie experience. But I swear that's Jerry Lewis, and they keep watching him. But he's not funny. Why
Yeah.
is he not funny? Jerry Lewis is funny, and then they finally see Bella, and like, oh, well, there he is, and then they get like finally finish the film and watching Bela Lugosi and everything. But every time that guy Sammy comes on screen, they're like, is that Jerry Lewis? I could have swore that's Jerry Lewis. It's like
Yeah.
every single time.
So I don't know a lot about the theatrical response um, from anything that I could like look up. The thing that I know more about is the television response because this played a lot on television.
Oh, that's no surprise. That's
Yeah.
not surprising at all.
So this got like absolutely dumped to television, and and a lot of people who were like of this category called monster kids, people who loved monster movies, often were also people who really enjoyed old classic comedy. Somebody like this would be like Leonard Maltin, the
Yeah.
movie critic. And Maltin in particular has talked about, seeing this kind of thing on TV late at night and being convinced that it was a Martin and Lewis movie. Later on in his life, would find out that, of course, it
It wasn't. It
wasn't.
wasn't.
But it's close enough to seem like it. That was definitely, and I heard an interview with the producer Maurice Duke's daughter. I mean, apparently this was definitely what they were going for. They were trying to trick people into thinking
Yeah.
that it was Martin and Lewis. I think his exact quote was, "Why should Martin and Lewis be the only ones who can make a Martin and Lewis movie?" So
Well, you have Bob Hope and Dean Crosby who came out and started doing stuff like that
yeah,
in the same era. And I argue that they were better rivals because I don't know, they actually had chemistry together
Yeah.
as a pair, and Bob Hope was actually funny. Uh,
Yeah.
and Ben Crosby also has a good voice. Not that Duke doesn't have a good voice.
Yeah, Duke Mitchell's fine.
He has a decent voice, and I think he's perfectly fine as a Dean Martin imitator. I like Dean Martin's voice a lot better when it
Hmm.
comes to that like big band and loud, solo artist style of that era.
Plus, Dean
Yeah.
Martin's actually a good actor.
Yeah, he's also a good actor, and he also has charisma. We should just go ahead and get the synopsis out of the way, I
Yeah.
think, because we keep alluding to it. We should probably just talk about what's in this movie,
Yeah.
what people should expect.
And there is a story at the end of it that I'll have to tell. Really quick before we jump in synopsis, just one more thing, and this is not about Martin and Lewis. This is just really quick a tribute to our beloved
Bela Lugosi.
well, no,
No?
our we will talk about our beloved Bela Lugosi later, but our beloved gorilla suit actors.
Oh yeah.
So from the last movie, Bride of the Gorilla, we had Steve Calvert as the gorilla.
So he's returned.
He has returned, and actually, in a little bit of extra research, I found that so there are two gorillas in this. The second gorilla was Ray Crash Corrigan, who sold Steve Calvert the gorilla suits to start being a gorilla suit actor.
Oh, interesting.
And he also was a gorilla suit actor, was considered one of the greats. And so they acted together in those scenes. So a good tribute to those guys. They did a ton of different gorilla movies.
Yeah.
They played gorillas in a lot of stuff. And Ray Corrigan actually was a small time Western actor and stuntman. He acted in movies directed by William Whitney, one of the great Poverty Row directors, and really one of the great Western directors of all time. You just have to ask Quentin Tarantino if you want to hear anything about that. That's pretty much what we've got starting out here.
Yeah.
And we will get into the synopsis now. So availability, like what, everywhere?
Yeah, probably everywhere, like YouTube and Tubi and all. They probably all have it, just similar to the last few films we've watched. This is public domain. Find it probably anywhere. We watched it on yet again, like Alpha release DVD.
On the Sons of Kong 10 full length movie box set of Gorillas Gone Wild. We're really actually we liked the transfer a lot on this one.
This is a better transfer than the last movie we watched. Like it's smooth, and you can actually tell that they either took their time to transfer this, which is very funny if they took for this film, they took time to transfer it, or they just found a very good copy that they could easily transfer. And if it was on television for so long, they may have been able to find a pretty easy and good transfer to put on there compared to like other ones. Like if this was a popular film to like air on television, they probably found a decent transfer.
Yeah, one would hope.
So, but with that, yeah, let's get into the synopsis. Spoilers ahead, as always.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. I'm gonna say this. I don't know how many of you all have, like our audience has watched any of these films. They're probably just listening to these films and hearing about them for the first time. This is how you learn about some of these films. That's great. We encourage you to watch all of them, whether we've recommended them or not, because we're cinema nerds. So we gotta recommend films whether they're good or bad.
Yeah, just
watch movies.
Okay, so to start out, we have a long tracking shot, not something that William Bonita is known for, but we have a long and extensive tracking shot of the jungle, and then we are focusing upon two castaways in late night comedy suits, looks like,
with beards, and they are found by a tribe of white people.
A tribe of white yes. A group of white people in tribal outfits, clearly trying to look African when it is supposed to be in the South Seas. And again, everyone is white.
South Pacific Sea specifically. Well, not because they keep talking about going to Guam.
We get these two comedians waking up in a hut, dressed in, I don't know if it's really supposed to be native garb. Really looks a whole lot more like loose fitting Hawaiian shirts and slacks, which apparently these natives are really good at making the slacks are nice. Yeah, they start talking about how they were on a trip to Guam to entertain the troops. So they're introducing themselves to the white people on the island. One of which is our leading lady, who is the future queen of the island, the daughter of the chief. She is played by a lady named Charlita, with no last name.
Hmm.
Charlita.
Charlie.
I guess she's Madonna or something like that. Beyonce of her day. She
Yeah.
does sing a song. Well, okay, she starts humming. She starts humming, and then that cues. I want to say Dean every time. Duke.
Yeah.
It cues Duke to start singing. All right, so she's the princess of the island anyway, and she is introducing everybody. Her father, the chief, who does not speak the English, but she speaks the English.
What if she speaks English?
Okay, he starts to speak English randomly.
Right, he speaks English randomly and somehow can understand everything that's going on. At first he can't, but then he can.
Yeah, because writing, right?
Yes.
Um,
Writing's hard.
yeah, I mean it is, but like, yeah, I forgot to credit the writer whose name is Tim Ryan. Apparently, he does a lot of comedy stuff. You can't tell,
Yeah.
but in terms of like, I don't know really what else to say. They do a luau kind of thing. They dance.
Yeah, we are introduced to there's this running gag. So there's this overweight woman, tribal woman. I don't remember her name, or tribe like whatnot, but she's the sister of the princess, and she and Sammy, the overweight woman, have this supposed to be comedic, comical like chase of like he's not attracted to her or he doesn't think she's attractive. He's scared of her and constantly runs away from her. It's supposed to be a running gag throughout the film.
It's a reverse Pepe Le Pew. This is a lady who's her character's name is Saloma, but Sammy keeps calling her Salami because she's fat.
Yeah, he's so unnecessarily mean to her,
Incredibly,
especially for what happens at the end,
which is very funny.
which is okay. Payoff wise, that joke works. However, in watching it, you're just cringing, or at least I was just cringing because I was like, look, I get maybe back in the 50s, maybe that was really funny to make fun of fat people that way. But it's like I think it's just so mean spirited towards her specifically.
I
and
think
how
I-
she looks, I don't like it.
I think I just watched it stone faced the entire time,
Yeah.
just sort of arms crossed. You know, it's just
Yeah.
not funny at all. This character is played by Muriel Landers, who, like, I mean, she does fine. And honestly, you know, good on her for having a good sense of humor about her own, you know, body
Weight,
type and
yeah.
stuff like that. You
she
know,
was getting paid for it, so
yeah, but at the same time, like, if it's not funny, it's not funny.
That's
If it
true.
is funny, it is funny.
yeah, exactly.
And so it just isn't particularly funny. And I'm not saying there's not a way to make that funny, but
Yeah.
it isn't. Mostly because of what you mentioned, the mean spiritedness. So we're
Yeah.
introduced to Saloma. She's chasing around Sammy. Charlita's character, Nona, tells Sammy and Duke that there's a white man that's on the island. Which,
the only white man that lives on the island.
yes, which I mean, we were surprised because with our eyes we can clearly tell that everybody is white. Lugosi is the guy. He's the scientist.
The scientist living on the island. He has a native tribesman who is his henchman who works for him.
Who is also white.
He was also white, yes, just a big white dude. And then there's this random Spanish safari guy that helps with the boats and stuff.
He's got a radio, so he can
Radio ships and boats.
Yeah.
And his name is Pepe.
Yes. That is all that you will hear of Pepe. Pepe is not an important character. He is a plot device. So we then discover that what Lugosi is trying to do is he's experimenting on particularly one chimpanzee. He's got other monkeys around and stuff like that, but they don't really come into the picture. They're just there.
They're just there as background fodder and
Yeah,
to be just there.
sounded like maybe like the monkey wrangler had like a 3-for-1 deal, that kind of thing. And they're just like, yeah, we'll take in some extra monkeys. Why not?
Monkeys. Which the chimp? It's not just a monkey. It's Ramona the chimp,
Ramona the chimp. Yes,
was a real chimp actress or actor.
I'm trying to figure this out here.
The chimp is not credited on Letterboxd, which is funny. I'm gonna say something a little controversial. Ramona the chimp, second best actor in the entire movie. First being Bela Lugosi.
Not controversial at all. Definitely.
Third best actor, the henchman.
Yeah.
I found him funny. So him and Bella, when we meet them, their dynamic is great because you can tell that they have known each other and worked together for a very long time. And what you often see in a lot of media that has like a mad scientist, he's always mean and hateful to his assistant, right? He's not that way to this guy. He's actually like they seem like genuine friends. Like they actually like working together, and there's a sense of loyalty to each other almost.
Yeah.
Which I like because I like the idea. It's like because I'm tired of a trope that like, oh, the evil scientist is so hateful and mean to their henchmen, and they never give them a say. They never do what they want, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, most of these scientists are solitary, and their only friend is their henchman.
Yeah.
So why would they be mean to them?
Yeah. Plus the henchman, I mean, he's stealing liquor off of Lugosi already.
Yeah.
And you gotta know that Lugosi probably knows it. He's just letting it slip by.
He's probably letting it slip and doesn't care, as long as the henchman does his job and doesn't get too wasted or drunk.
Now, that does, of course, become a problem later. But so Lugosi's experimenting on Ramona the chimp.
He reverse engineers and reverts Ramona back to a monkey form.
Yes.
Like a small little monkey with a tail form. Because he's trying to reverse engineer evolution.
Yeah.
And so he figures this out. And so he is in love with the princess of the island. But Duke has taken her affection.
And so at the moment that he figures out that he can revert Ramona back into the form of a capuchin monkey, which apparently is
a thing.
It's
not true in any real science.
He turns his face, brushing past the camera a little bit, one could say, and says, "I can turn a man into a gorilla," which made me laugh so hard.
Yeah. And it's quite funny.
It quite obviously is gonna be what he's gonna do to Duke. But he's like, oh, I can turn a chimp into a monkey. I can turn a man into a gorilla. And for what purpose?
Revenge.
Well, revenge.
Yes. And love.
Yes. And so he decides he wants to turn Duke into a gorilla.
And he does.
Yeah, that's how Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla.
Yeah, which okay, that's a title, I suppose.
Yeah. The alternate title was The Boys from Brooklyn.
That makes so much more sense.
Yes, which is I think what it was mostly played under on television. That's probably why people confuse it a little bit more with, a Martin and Lewis movie, because why would Bela Lugosi be in a Martin and Lewis movie? I don't know.
Well, since we're talking about the title, so I knew nothing about this movie before going in. I intentionally kind of do that with most of these movies because I was like, I just want to be blind and blind reaction. Because most of the time you know about these movies than I do.
Yeah,
I do. So I go into them blind. I thought this movie was going to take place in Brooklyn, and it was going to be about this gorilla, performance gorilla, and Bela Lugosi was going to basically play a fictional version of himself. And he was going to have this almost every way but loose, kind of the Clint Eastwood in the chimp film, sort of friendship with a guy in a gorilla suit. That's what I thought was going to be this movie. That was not this movie. And I don't know if the one that sounds better or not, but
I think it sounds fantastic. Also, not too far from a thing that happened in reality.
right, really?
Yeah, we have to. Okay, we're breaking from the synopsis for a moment because this is important for everyone to know, especially Isaac.
Okay.
So, do you know of the 1953 3D film House of Wax starring Vincent Price?
Oh yeah, I've never seen it, but I know about it. Yeah.
Okay, so it was an enormous hit. In order to drum up business and entertain the audience that was waiting in lines around the block to see this 3D film, what they decided to do is they had Bela Lugosi come out, who is not in the movie. He is not in House of Wax.
Hmm.
But they were like, Bela Lugosi needs money. So they gave Bela Lugosi money and his Dracula cape. And they gave him a guy in a gorilla suit that he would hold on a chain and he would go and like entertain the audience.
During House of Wax, like in between shows.
Yeah, like in between shows or like while people were waiting in line or like as an extra added on stage show. This is a thing that occurred.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I believe the man that was in the gorilla suit is still alive. I could be wrong, but I think that that is Bob Burns, famous monster movie prop collector and
Oh,
gorilla suit entrepreneur. He was a gorilla suit actor, mostly well known for being a gorilla in a TV show called The Ghostbusters. Unrelated, of course, to the
yeah,
Bill Murray movie.
yeah.
But he was in a movie. He was in a show called the Ghostbusters where he played a gorilla named Tracy.
Oh well, actually, speaking of Ghostbusters, that Ghostbusters, the '70s, it's from the '70s,
Yeah.
and you know what's funny is the production studio that made that show was the same people who animated the New Adventures of Batman, series I told you about, which
That's
is
so exciting.
if those of you know the New Adventures of Batman and Robin, I think as well, is an animated version of the 1966 series of Batman with Adam West and
Burt Ward.
Ward, yeah, of that. And that series is really well animated, surprisingly. And that production studio made Ghostbusters, the
Oh man,
series from the '70s. And they also helped produce the Ghostbusters animated TV series is that was based off the movies.
that's so exciting.
So it's
Oh
very
man.
funny about that connection. It's random rabbit hole connection.
But it connects back to Bela Lugosi meeting a Brooklyn gorilla because he hung out with a gorilla
Yeah.
to entertain people.
Yep.
Ah, it is. See, it is actually what you dreamed as part
Yeah.
of this movie.
I dreamed that was this movie, and it was not. And there was slight disappointment that the movie I was expecting did not happen.
But are you excited that it did happen in real life?
Yeah, I am. That's actually a fun fact to know in real life. I feel sad because if it was early '50s, Bella may have been like desperate for money to
Yeah.
fuel his addiction, and he's like, "Well, they're paying me for this," and he found that way, or maybe going that low is what made him realize maybe I shouldn't be so addicted to morphine. This is costing me way too much money. I need to get off this. And
Yeah.
that's a theory. I don't know anything about that actual story.
Yeah. But in terms of Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla, I don't know. What else can we say? He
We
does.
have a few more things. So, so with Duke changed into a gorilla, and his friend Sammy finds out that he's been changed into a gorilla. So what they do next is they have some shenanigans, and the tribespeople are looking for them, and they're running around. And this is where we meet the other gorilla, a female gorilla, presumably, and she is in love with Duke as the gorilla. There's a very funny scene where they like pace back and forth in their room trying to figure out what to do, which is funny with the context, and also the gorilla, Duke the gorilla, sings.
He does sing. Yes. Do I, baby? Indeed I do.
That happens, and Bella's character, the doctor, is trying to decides to eliminate the gorilla and call him dangerous. So he gets his rifle out and he tracks him back to the tribe, and he tries to shoot Duke the gorilla, but Sammy steps in front of him and takes the shot and gets shot, which I think I had a big smile on my face because Sammy, the annoying character of the film, oh, is he dead? No, it's just a dream.
Yeah.
And everybody from his dream is people he knows in real life. So, for instance, this is the setup I was talking about with the overweight woman from before. She, who was they had that dynamic of her chasing him around the entire set. Well, in real life, that's Sammy's sweetheart,
Yeah.
in his reality after the dream.
And he's like, "You're not so bad after all."
What an awful thing to say.
Yes.
He like because they kiss and he's like, "Oh, you're not so bad after all." It's just like,
it's like, that's your girl. And we then get to see a little bit of Sammy and Duke's nightclub act, which was part of what they did in real life. Unfortunately, it's not particularly good. Duke sings a bit of a song. Sammy tells one crappy joke. And, well, the movie ends.
yes, thankfully.
Yes, and with that, thankfully, I think I have to introduce one of the best stories about Sammy Petrillo and Duke Mitchell's fantastic movie, Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla. While they were making this movie, I think the budget was something like $12,000 for 6 days, or maybe a little more for 10 days. So very short shoot. When this movie came out, everybody that was like representing Dean and Jerry, they were all over this. They were like, "No, you're copying our act. We're gonna shut you down. We're gonna send you cease and desist letters," which is a thing that actually happened. Leonard Maltin just not too long ago actually received those letters and was able to show them off to a crowd.
That's cool.
Leonard Maltin is a big fan of this movie, by the way. It's one of his favorites. And so they sent these cease and desist letters. Well, Jerry actually went to see the movie, and he was like, "Don't worry about it. It's not going to be successful." But the funnier part of it is that when Jerry was watching the movie, somebody was watching it with him. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't Dean. They didn't really socialize. So Jerry's watching this movie, and it gets to the point where Bela Lugosi shoots Sammy Petrillo, and Jerry Lewis went, "Ah, finally." And you know, Jerry Lewis would go on record many years basically ruining Sammy Petrillo's career. Not that Sammy Petrillo had much of a career anyway, because he was just an imitator of Jerry Lewis, but Lewis basically got him blackballed from a lot of stuff, would not use him in his own stuff, and things like that. Lewis is often known as not being the nicest of dudes, but you know, you also have to, you can't put all of Sammy's failure on Jerry. I think part of it is Sammy didn't know how to do an original act, and his impression of Lewis, while uncanny, gets grating after a while.
Yeah.
So in terms of what we thought about it, I don't know, best movie ever made, 5 out of 5. Actually, it is not a funny movie in terms of being an actual comedy. It is not a scary movie in terms of being a horror movie.
I don't think it's a horror movie at all, to be honest.
Yeah, but you know what? It is scary how similar Sammy looks to Jerry, and it is funny to laugh at this movie because it is easy to laugh at it. It is so badly constructed. There are lags in the middle of it like nothing else. If it weren't for like just little bits and pieces of being able to make fun of characters during these laggy moments, making fun of bad dialogue and terrible one-liners by uh, Sammy. I mean, it would be unbearable. I remember hearing one reviewer say that they didn't think that this could possibly be enjoyed by anybody who wasn't on pot. We don't smoke. We don't smoke pot. I don't know. I still enjoyed it despite every bit of its flaws. It is stupid. The comedy is not good. The best part of it is that there's a guy in a gorilla suit.
Yeah.
There's a man who becomes a gorilla and he does some funny stuff.
Jokingly said this earlier, but I'm also 100% serious when I say this. The best actor in the movie is Bela Lugosi. I think he did a great performance in what he was given. It's so much obvious that he was allowed to do his thing on this film.
Completely committed.
Completely committed, very serious, and his reactions and facial expressions to the Sammy's antics are funnier than Sammy's antics.
So funny because he's just pissed.
He's just like, this guy is annoying and weird, and you're like, yes, he is, Bella. The third best actor is guy in a gorilla suit. I'm not saying that to be like mean that he's like the actual champ was better than him. It's just like, well, he's the actual champ.
Yeah,
but his gorilla was still good, and he did a great job. So did the other gorilla actor. They both did great.
Fantastic suits.
Yeah,
good performances.
And then fourth best actor was the henchman. I want to mention that again. And those were the 4 reasons I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah,
because they all of those elements worked perfectly together. And like you said, this movie lags. There's pacing issues throughout this movie. The fact that it takes 20 minutes to even see Bela Lugosi in this film is really bad.
Yeah.
There's such a, they want to be so nonchalant about a lot of things that it ends up hurting the movie. There's not really a sense of any urgency. Even when Duke gets transported into a gorilla, there's no sense of urgency that, oh no, an important main character has gotten transformed horribly. There's no sense of urgency to this. And I don't like, it was all dream trope. I don't like that in movies at all.
You won't like any of Maurice Duke's other movies.
Yeah.
It's in every one.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
That's what I've heard. It's what I've heard.
Well, we'll have to watch another one of his films. His 70s gangster films we'll watch and see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like that trope. So I had different expectations. Going into this, I was very flabbergasted. I thought they were actually going to go to Brooklyn. They did not. Well, maybe at the very end they were in Brooklyn, actually, in a nightclub in Brooklyn.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I didn't really enjoy this movie all that much. Which, to be fair, I will give the movie this credit. If the fact that all of the tribe's people are white at the end, if it's all a dream, and because he knew all the people, they were probably white fellow performers, that makes sense within the context of the movie, right?
Yes, it does.
So to give it a little credit is just like, it's still racist, but not that racist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you really want to deconstruct it like that, you can say like, oh, well, all it's saying is that Sammy is a racist.
Yes.
Which is really funny to think
Which
of.
is really funny to think about it. And
to be fair, this is something that I've heard. Like, we've trashed Sammy a lot, but I can't remember if Sammy's still alive. I'm just going to be honest.
No,
here.
He's dead.
Okay. Rest in peace, sweet prince. But to be fair, because there are fans of Sammy. Okay. Most of them are fans like I am a fan of Sammy. They enjoy how ridiculous he is because he's bad. But there are probably some people who like him legitimately. I've heard nothing but good things about Sammy in terms of like being a nice guy, a kind, gentle soul, had great memories of working with Bela Lugosi, teared up even at talking about Bela Lugosi because they became close on set. It's one of those things where you can be a nice guy and just not be talented, you know, and you can be a terrible person and be very talented. Yeah. And if nothing else, I will say, you said you outright did not enjoy this movie. I did enjoy this movie. I think that this is really fun and very funny. With the right context, with the right knowledge of like the background and stuff, this becomes a really interesting, fun watch. If I'm only grading it on what is just up there on screen, not taking into effect like the amount of times that I laughed at it as opposed to with it and stuff like that, this is like maybe the worst thing that we've ever seen.
I don't know about that. I think the Ape Man is currently the worst one we've seen,
Yeah.
and it was at least funnier and more entertaining than the gorilla.
Okay, well, I think I would agree with that. Just personally, in terms of my personal enjoyment of it, I think I have to give it like 3.5. But that's what I enjoy about it. I completely get like it is very flawed. It is not a good movie, but I like it, and so that makes it a good movie. So that's what I have to say about it. What about you?
I'm quite serious when I said it was better than the gorilla. It's
Mm-hmm.
better than the Ape Man. Is not, however, better than the best comedy we've watched so far is Abbott and Costello Africa Screams.
Yeah.
That is the best comedy we've watched, and I cannot give it the same rating I gave that one, which was 3.5. So I'm going to give this one actually a 2.5.
Okay, I think that's a very fair rating.
Yeah, a 2.5 big feet out of 5. Because look, it did make me laugh. I laughed with it maybe once or twice. And there were 4 elements I talked about, like 4 actors and 4 performances. And one thing we didn't talk about, William Beaudine actually moves the camera around a
This is
lot
true.
in this film. Probably because he had probably a bigger budget than he normally did. That's my theory. I bet he did.
Mm-hmm.
The gorilla costume was good. It's not the best gorilla costume we've seen.
No.
I think, honestly, the gorilla had a better gorilla costume. But this one is still good. It's better than the worst gorilla costume we didn't like. We didn't like the gorilla costume in The Ape Man.
Yeah.
A previous one, the Beaudine film. We didn't like that one. So I think this one just outpaces both of those in just production quality. The costuming, the sets were good. It wasn't that funny, but it didn't bore me. I wasn't bored. I was more annoyed at Sammy, and I'm not trying to be mean to him or say ill will. If he was a nice guy, he was a nice guy. But it's just like, I can't stand the type of personality he's going for. It's not for me.
Yeah, it's also important to mention he was 17 years old. Do you remember how cringy you were at 17?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I have nightmares about it to this day.
What?
So he was a kid, man. Like, this movie probably made him want to go home and get drunk, and he couldn't even do it legally. I mean, I guess that's our rating of it.
Anything to wrap up with?
I think we do have to have a moment of silence for 2 things. This is going to be the last in this season of our purely guy in gorilla suit movies.
Yeah.
So a moment of silence for that. Okay, that's long enough. I think also a moment of silence for Bela Lugosi, because this is the last time that we're going to see Bela Lugosi, and he has been a constant companion and a friend of the show. Again, that's long enough. I mean, he's been dead for a long time. It's all right.
I'm glad I got to see more of his films. I enjoy his performance every time I see him. I enjoy his pairing with Boris Karloff most often.
I think that's part of how I convinced Isaac to do this show, is because there's so many Bela Lugosi things. I got him into Bella and Boris combined, and then I was like, okay, but what if we take one of the good things out and add a gorilla?
Sadly, I don't think they ever did one together, like a gorilla suit and Bella.
I don't think so. Like, maybe they did some kind of television appearance or something like that, but I don't know. I would love to see that if anything is out there. He is, as I mentioned before on an earlier episode, maybe the most important bit of film criticism that made me want to get into film criticism was hearing a film critic on just sort of like a talking head documentary say Bela Lugosi is the most intense actor in the history of motion pictures. It rung true with me, and yet it was for somebody who was sort of at the time considered disreputable, who was considered not talented, who was considered only a name. I think for racist reasons was kept down, and also just not being great with money and bad management and just taking whatever he could get. Yeah, a big heartfelt thanks to the late great Bela Lugosi, who we have enjoyed every minute of when we have been with him here on Sasquatch Cinema. In the future, we will be getting into actual Sasquatch movies, actual Yeti movies.
Goodbye, Bela Lugosi. We will miss you. And we hopefully we will probably still watch his films on the side as we're on our own, but not for the podcast. Next time, I believe we are watching The Snow Creature. Look forward to that one.
Looks like it's gonna be fun. It's got a 2.4 on
Mm.
Letterboxd. We'll probably like it though. We're really excited about that one. We will be seeing you in the next show. But first, Isaac, are you convinced that Bigfoot exists by the fact that Sammy Petrillo exists?
No.
Which is more likely to have existed, Bigfoot or Sammy Petrillo?
I mean, Sammy Petrillo did exist.
Yeah, but like, if you had, what are the odds
What are the odds?
that Sammy Petrillo would have existed?
I mean, we just saw a film with him acting in it.
I mean,
And he was a nightclub entertainer for years. Sasquatch is not a nightclub entertainer. He's in the woods. He doesn't command civilization.
This is true.
I mean, this film doesn't give any compelling evidence. It just says evolution. Reverse engineer or a man into an ape. No.